Hi, my name is Kurt Lamy. I am the pastor at St Paul Lutheran Church on Dogleg Road in Dayton, Ohio. And I'd like to take a moment today to think with you about the question, what's the relationship between comedy and faith? Now, at first glance, it might not seem like there's any relationship. When we think of comedy, we think of things that make us laugh. We think of jokes. We think of something funny. When we think of faith, we might think of it as a real serious thing. You don't laugh in church, sort of thing. So maybe we think the two don't go together at all. Or if we do think they go together, then we think of it in some kind of cheesy way, like bad puns on church signs, or Christian comedians, or people who try to make jokes about the Bible. Yeah, that's sort of there, but there's a lot more to it than that. There's a much deeper and stronger relationship between comedy and faith than just kind of bad jokes. So what is that deeper relationship? There is a wonderful book by the Christian author Frederick Buechner called Telling the Truth, the Gospel as Tragedy, Comedy, and Fairy Tale. It's a real thin little book, but it's a great read. In it, Buechner talks about the life of faith in these three different ways: tragedy, comedy, and fairy tale. The tragedy is the sadness. Think about Greek tragedies and comedies, or think about the theater, how they have the happy face and the sad face. That's the comedy and the tragedy. In those kind of terms, tragedy is the sad ending. Comedy is the unexpected happy ending. This is why we laugh at jokes, because there's a twist. There's something unexpected, and it makes us laugh because it's happy. So the tragedy, going back to Buechner's book, the tragedy is the sadness. It's the fact that we're broken and sinful people, that we make a mess of our lives and the world, we rebel against God, that sort of thing. That's the tragedy. The comedy is the happiness. It's the good news. It's the fact of resurrection. Think about Good Friday. That was very much tragic. But then Easter Sunday, there's the comedy. Nobody expected resurrection. And yet here it is. It's this unexpected happy ending. So the comedy, in this sense of looking at it, is the forgiveness we receive, the love we receive, the grace and mercy, all of these wonderful things that God gives us that maybe now we expect, but in the grand scheme of things, it's unexpected. Why would God give these things to us? We broken, sinful people who think only of ourselves. But God does give them to us. That's the comedy. That's the unexpected happiness. Then the fairy tale in Buechner's book. Fairy tales sometimes we think of are just make-believe stories for kids about fairies and princes and princesses and that kind of thing. What Buechner talks about is that fairy tale is this new world. And in the life of faith, in Christ, we are given a new life, which then leads us to live in a new kind of way, in a new world. Yes, we're still living here on earth with the same kind of people, but we live in a new way. We see life differently. That's the fairy tale. We're entering a new kind of world. So what do comedy and faith have to do with one another? It's not just about making jokes about the Bible or bad puns on church signs. Rather, it's about this unexpected happiness. It's about the good news that we have. It's the message of resurrection. So I encourage you to check out Buechner's book, Telling the Truth, the Gospel as Tragedy, Comedy, and Fairy Tale. And I ask that you please leave a comment to this video and let me know what you think of this way of viewing comedy and its relationship to the life of faith. Thanks for watching.